Tsukasa Mikogami, the skilled politician and Prime Minister of Japan, genius inventor Ringo Ōhoshi, ninja journalist Shinobu Sarutobi, medical doctor Keine Kanzaki, samurai swordswoman Aoi Ichijō, magician Prince Akatsuki, and businessman Masato Sanada find themselves in a dire situation after surviving a plane crash. To their astonishment, they awaken in a world filled with magic where humans coexist with a race called Bumas, humans with animal-like features. Thankfully, they are saved by a compassionate Buma named Winona and her elven daughter, Lyrule, who provide them with care and aid in their recovery. As the Prodigies regain their strength, the people of Elm Village celebrate their miraculous survival. It is during this time that they hear of a legendary tale about 7 heroes from another world who once saved the continent from an evil dragon. Intrigued by the possibility of a connection, Tsukasa urges his comrades to delve into the culture and secrets of the Frejagard Empire, both to find a way back home and to repay the gratitude shown by the villagers of Elm Village. When soldiers of a local feudal lord attempt to extort Elm villagers for their provisions, the Prodigies step in and bravely repel the intruders, ensuring the safety of the villagers. Their actions remain concealed from the lord as they continue their mission to find a way back home while providing assistance and support to those in need. Masato and Elch find themselves facing a challenging situation in Elm Village. They discover that the Neuchaland company holds a virtual monopoly over commerce in Dormant, making it difficult to acquire the necessary funds and supplies. While their fellow high schoolers contribute through various odd jobs, Shinobu utilizes her ninja skills to uncover scandalous information about the mayor of Dormant. This valuable information allows Masato to obtain a trading permit under the name Elm Trading Company, taking in a homeless girl named Ro. Masato and Elch devise a plan. They approach local merchants and propose a consignment shop, offering to help sell their goods in Dormant. The Elm Trading Company aims to undercut Neuchaland's prices, only taking a small percentage of the profits while allowing the merchants to manage the stores themselves. Soon, Masato's shop gains popularity, attracting customers with a diverse range of products, from rugs to Tsukasa's homemade mayonnaise. The profits generated from the shop are sent back to Elm Village, providing much-needed resources and financial aid. Initially dismissing the Elm Trading Company as a mere nuisance, Neuchaland starts to perceive the threat when the Sea Serpent Maritime Merchant Company begins trading with Masato. Fearing their dominance being challenged, Neuchaland establishes a rival store intending to undercut Elm's prices and drive them out of business. However, Masato reveals to Elch a surprising sight: a group of Bumas standing outside. This glimpse hints at Masato's secret plan to dismantle Neuchaland once and for all. Neuchaland's devious plan to dismantle Elm Trading Company takes an unexpected turn. Their decision to dismiss merchants in a bid to save money backfires when the enraged merchants boycott Neuchaland and instead sign a contract with Masato's company. Acknowledging defeat, the head of Neuchaland Company strikes a deal with Masato to share trading rights in Findolf. Meanwhile, slave traders make a desperate attempt to recapture Ru, the young girl who found solace under Masato's wing. Moved by her promise to become a great merchant and free her enslaved parents, Masato purchases her freedom, solidifying their bond. Back in Elm Village, Tsukasa and the other Prodigies embark on a project to construct a public bathhouse for the villagers. However, their peaceful endeavor takes a perilous turn when a massive bear attacks, endangering the lives of the villagers, including village chief Olga, Winona's father. Tsukasa leads the charge to defend the village, while Aoi confronts and defeats the formidable beast. Keine employs her healing abilities to tend to Chief Olga's wounds. As Masato and his companions return to Elm Village, they are met with an unexpected twist. Soldiers under the command of Marquis Findolf, led by the knight Inzaghi, arrest them and the entire village. Inzaghi falsely accuses the villagers of treason, claiming that peasants striving for social mobility and possessing gold coins constitute crimes against the nobility. In a shocking act of punishment, Inzaghi orders the villagers to be burned alive inside their homes. However, Akatsuki manages to free the captive villagers just in the nick of time. Tsukasa and the others arrive to witness the chaos, learning that Inzagi has also kidnapped Lyrule, Winona's precious elven daughter. Lyrule finds herself in a dire situation. Kidnapped by Inzagi and forced into becoming Marquis Findolf's concubine, her life hangs in the balance. However, a mysterious magic protects her when Findolf attempts to make unwanted advances. Meanwhile, Tsukasa and the Prodigies join forces with the villagers of Elm to rescue Lyrule and ignite a revolution. Their goal is to overthrow the oppressive Freyjagard Empire and establish a modern, advanced democratic nation where equality and individual rights prevail. With the aid of Ringo's powerful rail cannon, metal arrows, and durable Duralumin shields, the Prodigies and Elm villagers launch an assault on Findolf's castle. Their advanced weaponry allows them to easily overpower the enemy soldiers. Simultaneously, Shinobu and Tsukasa embark on a covert mission to rescue Lyrule. As Shinobu bravely confronts Inzagi, Tsukasa ventures into Findolf's chamber. Despite being shot by Findolf's flintlock pistol, Tsukasa remains unharmed due to his suit's bulletproof fibers. Drawing his own handgun, Tsukasa shows mercy by using a rubber bullet against Findolf, knowing that the Prodigy's actions and ideals have already made them enemies of the Empire. Their unwavering determination to bring about revolution leaves no room for negotiation. Later, a mysterious entity utilizes Lyrule's body to deliver a cryptic message to Tsukasa and the Prodigies. They are tasked with saving the entire continent before vanishing into the unknown. With Lyrule rescued and Findolf's army defeated, celebrations ensue. Amidst the joyous atmosphere, Tsukasa begins to plan his next mission, to establish an independent nation that will embody the ideals they have fought for. The Prodigies devise a bold plan to establish their influence and secure acceptance from the people. They create a religion known as the Seven Light Faith, with Akatsuki as the revered deity and the other Prodigies as his devoted angels. By utilizing Akatsuki's magical tricks and offering free gifts of mayonnaise, they successfully sway the people of Dormont to shift their loyalty from the Empire to the Seven Light Faith. Tsukasa, the mastermind behind their strategy, negotiates a peaceful agreement with Dormont's mayor, Walter von Heiserad. In this deal, the city agrees to defect to the Seven Light Faith while preserving the mayor's position. Tsukasa also engages in discussions with Zest do Bernard, the former captain of the Dormont Watch. He convinces Bernard to become the leader of the newly formed Seven Light Knight Order by highlighting the promising future that awaits Bernard's daughter in their new nation, persuading him to fight against the Empire. Meanwhile, Shinobu and Elch embark on a journey to Buchwald, where they uncover vital information. They learn that the Empire plans to dispatch an army, led by Duke Oslo el Gustaf, a renowned war hero notorious for his controlling nature, to reclaim Findolf from the Prodigies. At Gustav's castle, tensions rise as he executes Inzagi for his cowardice, vowing to unleash destruction upon the rebels. Tsukasa's dedication to implementing political reforms and improving the lives of the people raises concerns among his ministers and friends, who fear he is overexerting himself. As the Empire plans to launch an attack on Findolf in the upcoming spring, Tsukasa takes proactive measures to modernize the Seven Lights army. To strengthen their defenses, Tsukasa enlists the expertise of Ringo, tasking her with constructing a power plant and a factory for mass-producing guns. This strategic move aims to equip their forces for the imminent invasion. Meanwhile, Lyrule wrestles with her feelings toward Tsukasa, believing that he harbors resentment towards her. Masato reassures her that Tsukasa's distant behavior stems from guilt, as he initially advised the Elm villagers not to rescue her from Marquis Findolf's clutches. In a heartfelt conversation, Tsukasa opens up to Lyrule, revealing his complicated past. He once admired his father, the former Japanese prime minister, until he discovered his father's corruption. With the help of his friends, Tsukasa exposed his father's wrongdoing, leading to his arrest and execution. This revelation strained his relationship with his mother, who never forgave him for his actions. Since then, Tsukasa has dedicated himself to being a selfless politician, driven by a desire to serve the people. Moved by Tsukasa's confession, Lyrule assures him of her unwavering support and promises to be there for him, pledging never to harbor hatred towards him. On the other hand, Rue struggles with learning multiplication. However, with the assistance of the other prodigies, she eventually grasps the concept, showcasing the power of teamwork and mutual support. Shinobu and Elch find themselves staying at an inn operated by Emerata and her daughter Melinda in Kokunono village, situated within Duke Gustav's territory. Despite the villagers' outward claims of prosperity, Shinobu grows suspicious when she notices that none of the villagers partake in the food they serve, despite their apparent hunger. Soon, Shinobu and Elch uncover the dark secret concealed within Kokunono. The villagers have been clandestinely drugging and murdering unsuspecting travelers, consuming their flesh for sustenance. The grim reality shocks Shinobu, prompting her to take action. When Duke Gustav's soldiers subject Melinda to punishment for having dirt on her clothes during an inspection, Shinobu selflessly offers herself up to their leader, Silver Knight Jean de LeBlanc. In exchange for sparing Melinda's life, Shinobu willingly submits to their custody. She discovers that Melinda had tried to warn her and Elch about the village's sinister practices. Confronting Emerata, Elch learns the unsettling truth behind Kokunono's transformation. Once a prosperous farming village, Duke Gustav seized their lands and coerced the villagers into turning Kokunono into an aesthetically pleasing town using their own funds. He enforced strict cleanliness standards, preventing them from farming or earning money. The villagers, desperate to survive, resorted to cannibalism, burdened by remorse for their actions. Meanwhile, Jean reveals her true allegiance as a member of the Azure Brigade, a group opposing Duke Gustav's tyrannical rule. She seeks Shinobu's aid in their struggle. In another development, Duke Gustav grows increasingly frustrated by his army's failure to attack the rebels at Findolf. Deciding to take matters into his own hands, he employs his formidable magic spear, Heaven's Flames, and aims to unleash destruction upon Dormont. Tsukasa and Ringo become aware of the impending attack and utilize the anti-aircraft missiles in Findolf to redirect the spear towards the ocean. However, despite their efforts, the spear manages to evade the final missile, ultimately striking Dormont. The spear unleashed by Duke Gustav strikes Dormont's noble district, igniting a devastating fire. Mayor Walter swiftly follows Tsukasa's emergency manual, ordering the evacuation of civilians. Despite their efforts to save lives and contain the fire, Duke Gustav calls upon fire spirits from his spear, intent on causing further destruction and claiming innocent lives. During this critical moment, Lyrule discloses to the prodigies that the entity possessing her has conveyed the necessity of destroying the spear to halt the spreading of Heaven's Flames. With Ringo's final missile at their disposal, Aoi bravely volunteers to safeguard the missile from Gustav's fire spirits, ensuring it reaches its target, the spear itself. Aoi embarks on her mission, ready to protect the missile with her life. The missile strikes true, obliterating the spear and quelling the raging flames. The impact reverberates with Duke Gustav, fueling his determination for revenge against the rebels. As the prodigies lend their aid to the people of Dormont, Lyrule unveils a startling revelation. The being that possessed her has bestowed upon her magical knowledge and the ability to communicate with spirits. Driven by this newfound power, Lyrule expresses her desire to learn and harness magic to assist others. Armed with information from Shinobu that Duke Gustav will be unable to unleash another Heaven's Flames attack for some time, and with the support of the Azure Brigade, Tsukasa devises a daring plan. He orders a surprise assault on Gustav's army, led by the valiant Zest and 50 soldiers equipped with winter gear and semi-automatic rifles. Duke Gustav's relentless pursuit of power reaches a critical point. Ignoring the warnings of Marquis Arclede and Marquis Buckwald, Gustav orders their forces to invade Findolf despite the unfavorable winter conditions. Zest's well-equipped troops, armed with semi-automatic rifles and grenades, counter the attack, forcing Arclede and Buckwald's armies to retreat. Eventually, both Marquists surrender to the Seven Light Faith, recognizing the futility of their endeavors. Simultaneously, the Azure Brigade launches an assault on Duke Gustav's castle. Jean and Shinobu confront Gustav, demanding his surrender. However, Gustav's pride and obstinacy prevent him from yielding, resulting in a fierce battle between them. Although they emerge victorious, Gustav refuses to be captured alive, resorting to a self-inflicted magical explosion that seemingly claims his life. With Gustav's lands now under the control of the Seven Light Faith and the Azure Brigade, order is gradually restored. However, lingering questions remain. The Prodigies convene to discuss the trustworthiness of the Azure Brigade and the potential for an alliance between the two groups. Tsukasa grows suspicious of the Azure Brigade, believing they are concealing crucial information from the Prodigies. His doubts about their trustworthiness, particularly regarding their new leader, Count Conrad, lead him to question their future plans. Recognizing the toll their exhaustive schedules have taken on Tsukasa and Ringo, Connie advises them to take some much-needed time off before succumbing to exhaustion. Agreeing to the suggestion, Tsukasa invites Ringo on a day out in town, leading her to mistakenly believe it to be a romantic date. Seeking guidance on approaching boys, Ringo turns to Aoi and Keine, who lack experience in matters of the heart, relying instead on their unique skills. However, it is Shinobu who offers the most valuable advice, outlining a multi-step plan involving hand-holding and indirect kisses. As Tsukasa and Ringo embark on their town tour, they disguise themselves to evade the attention of curious onlookers. Their excursion takes an unexpected turn when they arrive at a restaurant, thwarting Ringo's initial plan to hold hands with Tsukasa. In a moment of embarrassment, Ringo attempts an indirect kiss by switching drinks, leading her to faint in mortification when her plan succeeds. During her unconscious state, Ringo experiences a dream that delves into her upbringing. She reflects on her genius abilities and the abandonment she faced when her mother, who was artificially inseminated to create a prodigy child, grew resentful of Ringo's success. Feeling lost and contemplating her existence, Ringo's life takes a transformative turn when Tsukasa appears at her school, consistently providing her with broken objects to repair. This unexpected connection gives her a renewed sense of purpose and sparks a deep admiration and love for Tsukasa. Awakening from her dream, Ringo finds herself resting on Tsukasa's lap, expressing her gratitude for his presence in her life and the impact he has had on her journey. Together, they gaze upon the scenic beauty of the town's seaport, setting the stage for an important task Tsukasa entrusts to Ringo. Shinobu uncovers Conrad's treacherous plan to reunite the Azure Brigade with the Freyagard Empire, confirming Tsukasa's earlier suspicions of their betrayal. Simultaneously, a rampant septicemia epidemic plagues the commoners, prompting Keine to devise a cure, despite a shortage of penicillin caused by Ringo's latest project. Count Sorrentius from the Medical Guild proposes a morally dubious solution, suggesting the use of opium to alleviate the suffering. Keine adamantly refuses and strikes a deal with Sorrentius instead. She vows to cure the sick using an alternative method involving coal, with failure granting him permission to sell opium. Utilizing Lyrule's magical abilities and Kaine's chemical expertise, they transform the coal into sulfonamide, effectively healing all the patients. Count Sorrentius and his cohorts, however, attempt to poison the sulfonamide in an effort to tarnish the reputation of the Seven Light Faith. Keine intervenes and employs lobotomy to transform them into loyal followers. Meanwhile, Ringo completes her latest creation, a powerful intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. In the Empire, General Nero permits Conrad and the Azure Brigade to rejoin, but tasks them with the mission to destroy the Seven Light Faith, whose principles of equality contradict the Empire's survival of the fittest ideology. They are bestowed with an army and accompanied by the enigmatic mage Tanganika. Elsewhere, Conrad's knight, Razanok, and his henchmen plot to assassinate Jean. However, Shinobu comes to Jean's rescue and dispatches the assassins, including Razanok, after Jean discovers his role in the demise of her mentor, Count Blumhardt, the former leader of the Azure Brigade. Jean grapples with the disillusionment of her comrades, betraying the original goals set by her mentor, but Shinobu assures her that the ideals of the Seven Light Faith will help fulfill those aspirations. While Jean and Shinobu stumble upon Gustav's golden statue within Conrad's castle, Conrad returns accompanied by Tanganika, whom Shinobu recognizes. As Tanganika unveils his true identity as Gustav, he ruthlessly eliminates Conrad for defiling his cherished golden statue. With his attention turned to Jean and Shinobu, they narrowly escape his clutches, but not before Gustav obliterates the castle, leaving no guard alive. Reveling in his newfound power, Gustav is suddenly met with an explosive end, courtesy of Ringo's newly constructed ballistic missile. The impact of the blast reverberates across Dortmund, where the prodigies contemplate the implications of such a devastating weapon. Tsukasa, burdened by the belief that he will be reviled for resorting to destructive means in diplomatic negotiations, finds solace in Ringo's comforting presence. The following day, the prodigies address their citizens in a heartfelt speech, during which Tsukasa announces the unification of their nation as the Elm Republic. Emphasizing the need to defend themselves as a republic and reject dictatorship, Tsukasa rallies the people. However, their moment of triumph is abruptly interrupted as a pillar of fire emerges, revealing Gustav transformed into a formidable demon. Launching an attack on the prodigies, he poses a grave threat. Aoi and Shinobu valiantly attempt to neutralize him, targeting the mysterious gem embedded in Gustav's chest, but they are repelled. With Gustav closing in on Tsukasa, he musters his courage, drawing a handgun and shattering the gem just as the demon reaches him. In his dying moments, Gustav warns Tsukasa of the arduous trials that lie ahead and arrogantly declares the prodigy's impending failure. Meanwhile, a trio from the Yamato Empire, along with General Nero, observes the events in Dortmund, contemplating the potential obstacle posed by the Seven Light Faith. The next day, Tsukasa, grappling with feelings of inferiority compared to the other prodigies, reflects on Gustav's warning. To his surprise, he is joined by the rest of the prodigies, who present a biodegradable container for selling mayonnaise. With joyous celebrations, they commemorate the defeat of Gustav and the birth of the Elm Republic, united with the townsfolk.